principal, Ms. Hoofstra, and so I'm just going to do some housekeeping and just to let you know how things are going to go. My name is Tatiana Mahoney. I'm the Director of Family and Community Engagement, and we will be with everybody on mute, so that will prevent the background noise to interfere with the presentation. And I will be translating back and forth. That way, this presentation is able to be recorded for those families who can attend. Then they'll be able to see it later on. We will have the presentation, and then we will have a time of Q&A. And this meeting is for 1 hour at 11 o'clock. We start our next meeting, which is for high school. So if you are in, if you have a child also in high school, please stay with us. Or if we have to end it and bring back again, just use the same Zoom link. And again, this will be recorded. Okay, buenos días. Estoy aquí con la directora, Ms. Hoofstra, y le voy a decir cómo va a funcionar la reunión de hoy. La reunión de hoy va a ser grabada para aquellas familias que no pueden asistir. Y entonces, para asegurarnos que tengan buen sonido, pedimos que todos estén en mudo, en su micrófono apagado. Y yo voy a traducir, así las familias pueden escuchar también en español, las que no en la grabación. Y la presentación se hace primero y luego yo traduzco a medida que la directora esté diciendo la información, y luego vamos a tener un tiempo de preguntas y respuestas. Y también voy a estar monitoreando el chat. Y luego a las 11 nosotros empezamos la siguiente reunión, que es con la diferente directora de high school. Empieza a las 11 la reunión para high school. Así que tenemos que terminar en punto. Y si tienen más preguntas, pues me las pueden mandar luego. So, because of timing, if you have any more questions and we can't get to you, all your answering to all your questions, you can send them to me, and then I'll get back to you with. We want to make sure that that you get all your questions answered. All right. Okay, so I'm going to start recording now.
Actually, was recording already, Miss
Mahoney. Okay, great. Wonderful. So take it away, Ms. Hoofstra.
All right, good. I'm going to share my screen and the presentation. So this is, I really appreciate you being with us this morning. I know it's a beautiful Saturday morning and a little chilly, but I appreciate you spending this hour with us. I think it's always, you know, one more touch point that we have with parents, and this partnership with parents, I've realized, you know, in the pandemic, it's come to me to understand even better and more, I guess more visibly, our partnership, and I appreciate so much you being here today.
Estamos muy contentos de que están con nosotros, especialmente sabiendo que hay un lindo día afuera. La verdad que lo apreciamos mucho, especialmente porque en este formato de escuela virtual es muy importante de que seamos buenos socios en la educación y trabajando juntos para que nuestros niños salgan adelante.
So I want to talk a little bit about what we're going to do today and kind of what's new and different so that we're all on the same page. Mostly we're going to talk about attendance today, why it matters, how it's being measured, how we're going to encourage kids to attend their live classes, which they have more of, and you're going to get a chance to look at the schedule. We're going to talk about how to find all the Zoom links. Then we're going to talk about the progress reports that were emailed to you and are also being mailed by post to you today. And also a little bit more about Dojo, just so that we can wrap up all of our ways of communicating.
Entonces, hoy lo que vamos a hablar es sobre la asistencia. Muy importante la asistencia. También vamos a hablar sobre las competencias, incentivos, todo para mejorar la asistencia. También sobre cómo funcionan las clases en vivo y a cómo facilitar el acceso a los enlaces de Zoom para que los niños puedan entrar bien a sus clases. Vamos a hablar sobre los reportes de progreso. Y cómo funciona también Class Dojo y para que estén todos conectados.
So first of all, let me explain about how attendance is being taken in phase 2 and going forward. Because we increased the number of live classes, attendance is only going to be taken in live classes. So instead of trying to figure out if they have missing work and attendance will be if they're in their live classes and advisory counts. So we want to make sure students are in their live classes, and you'll see on the video with Mr. Brady and Ms. Carval, with Santiago, excuse me, how easy it is to see where their live classes are. If you miss 2 live classes per day, that counts as an absence, and that goes into the DOE student information system. And so it's really important for students to be in all of their classes. And every class that's missed is an automatic 1 in our grading system. So you're going to see with grading and with ETS that it's really important that students are in their live classes every day.
Okay, so la asistencia, la forma que cambiamos es que vamos a tomarla solo si vemos que los niños están entrando a sus clases en vivo. Es la mejor forma para nosotros saber si están en clase o no están en clase. Entonces, y estas clases incluyen la consejería. Luego, si pierden 2 clases por día, cuenta como una asistencia y la ponen ausente en el sistema de... Oh, if you can please mute yourself so we can have a good sound. Si está 2 clases, pierden dos clases, entonces cuentan como asistencia y eso va en los records, en los registros del Departamento de Educación. O sea que es muy importante de que sepan esto porque cada clase que está perdiendo es como le dan un puntaje de 1 en cómo califican al estudiante.
So I know that we have been communicating a lot with you, and hopefully that is a positive thing. I want to explain to you what the different types of communication are. Every day, at the end of the day, if a child has missed a class, that teacher will communicate with you through Dojo that your child missed the synchronous class.
Entonces, nosotros queremos que ustedes esté bien informado. Entonces, si su niño pierde clase en vivo, entonces la maestra se va a comunicar con usted a través de Class Dojo para que eso se pueda corregir, para nosotros saber si hay algún problema o lo que sea.
If you've missed 2 classes that day, the following day, operations runs a report and you would receive a robocall, an automatic call from operations telling you that your child missed 2 classes, and that counts as 1 absence on our ATS system.
Ok, si su niño pierde 2 clases, entonces al siguiente día el Departamento de Sistemas va a hacer un reporte y ellos van a mandarle una llamada pregrabada en que le va a decir que está faltando clase.
We also track cumulative absences in order to see if we need to work on an absence intervention plan. And so after 3 cumulative absences, you will get a call from the office. And then after 5 and 7 and 10, we will continue with a plan. That will be from the student support system, and that is dealing with overall absence or chronic absence.
Ok, entonces si su niño está faltando 3 o más clases y también está faltando sus tareas, no está entregando, entonces también vamos a tener que intervenir Y eso ya es con la oficina de la directora y también con el apoyo estudiantil. Entonces tenemos que hacer un plan para trabajar juntos para que se pueda poner su niño otra vez al día.
And another call you'll get from us at the end of the week will be if your child is missing 3 or more assignments on Google Classroom. So we are still looking at Google Classroom on the asynchronous days, and if there are 3 or more missing assignments, we will call toward the end of the week. That'll come from my office, so it'll either be Miss Nancy or myself or one of the people who is working on missing work calls as well, just to remind you that the asynchronous work in Google Classroom is something that we are also still tracking.
La otra cosa que es también importante es el trabajo que el niño está entregando. O sea que si no está entregando sus tareas a tiempo, entonces va a recibir una llamada, ya viene de Miss Nancy o otra persona ya de parte de la directora y va a explicar cuáles son las tareas que no han sido entregadas. Entonces, esta es la forma para que usted esté informado.
And I hope this doesn't seem like over communication, but I feel like it's really important that we, know that we have the synchronous classes and we have the asynchronous classes, and you want to receive information about all of this. If you ever feel like it was an incorrect marking, or that your child was actually present that day, please call the main office, speak with Nancy, speak with me. We are more than happy to go back and look at that. We can tell which classes were missing, and we can go back and communicate that to the main office as well. It's really important that we stay up to date on this as much as possible, which is why we're doing these daily and weekly calls.
Para nosotros creemos es muy importante mantenerlo a usted lo más informado posible. Porque así usted sabe en cómo está su niño, cómo está participando y todo, y para que usted tenga mucho mejor control. Esperamos que todas nuestras llamadas no la abrumen. En verdad, lo que queremos es que su niño esté en donde tenga que estar. Pero, sin embargo, si usted ve que su niño está participando o que de su parte usted está viendo que su niño está entregando la tarea o cualquier cosa, por favor, comuníquese con nosotros para nosotros investigar más a fondo y saber cuál es el problema, por qué tenemos un tipo de información y usted tiene el otro, para así nosotros poder corregirlo, porque la verdad que queremos es que más que todo su niño esté aprendiendo lo que tenga que aprender.
And I'm going to now share a video with you that Mr. Brady and Ms. Santiago made for the students, because I think it explains really well how you can find all of the synchronous classes and how you can know what is expected of your students with all of their work. This is what we showed students on Wednesday.
Ahora les vamos a mostrar un video, y el video, si hace un clic, nosotros vamos a ir a hacer un clic en donde dice closed captioning. Está el video en inglés, pero si ustedes por favor leen la traducción en español, le va a decir lo que explica el video. Y esto fue presentado a los estudiantes el miércoles.
So much. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Oops, that's the end of it.
Bye.
You want to watch the beginning.
Inwood Academy. It's us again. I'm Mrs. Santiago. I'm the assistant principal for math and science.
And it's Mr. Brady.
Good morning, Inwood Academy. It's us again. I'm Mrs. Santiago. I'm the assistant principal for math and science.
And it's Mr. Brady here. I'm the assistant principal of humanities, which is ELA and social studies. Today, we're going to go through a little bit of a reorientation to remote learning at IAL. We are now entering phase 2 in the middle of October, and there have been some changes. So we want to make sure that we go over them with you and that we're really, really clear about all things remote learning in this phase.
Are you having trouble? Is it the audio okay? Because I'm having trouble with the
I think for me, I can hear well.
The first thing, we're just going to review some things that have not changed. We have 2 types of lessons, both asynchronous and synchronous. Asynchronous, for a refresher, is not live, meaning your assignments are on Google Classroom and you will complete those assignments independently without a teacher. Then you have synchronous lessons, which are live. You must be on Zoom at a specific time, and you'll be there with your entire class as well as your teacher.
Let's talk about asynchronous lessons, which I'm sure you're very familiar with. Asynchronous lessons are lessons that you find on Google Classroom, and they have two main components. The first is a teacher-created video, and the second is some sort of assignment that you have to complete.
Let's give a refresher on synchronous lessons as well. As I mentioned before, these are lessons that are on Zoom. And we have three expectations of a synchronous lesson. Firstly, you need to be on time. So make sure you are logged on and ready to go with your cameras on by the time class begins. And we are also expecting students to participate. As a reminder, every synchronous lesson, you will have a grade associated with that lesson. And you can see the very easy to read rubric down below, meaning you can get a 4 if you are on time with your cameras on. This is the easiest 4 you will get in the history of Inwood Academy. So all you have to do is be on time with your cameras on, and you'll get that 4. If you don't turn your camera on, or if you're leaving early or showing up late, that will be a 2. And if you completely miss a session, that is an automatic 1. So please do not miss your synchronous lessons, because that is not going to be good for your GPA.
Okay, just a reminder, there are two types of classes. There are core content classes, and that list is there. ELA, math, science, social studies, reading if you're in grades 5 and 6, and literacy if you're in grades 7 and 8. And then there are also specials classes. That's your advisory. That's also PE and performing arts for 5th and 6th grade, Spanish for 7th and 8th, for 7th grade, art for 8th grade, and health for 7th and 8th grade.
So the question here, this is a major change, so I really want to make sure we're listening. You now have 2 synchronous lessons for core content classes. It was previously 1 in phase 1. Now that we are in phase 2, you'll have 2. And then because you have 2 synchronous, you now have 2 asynchronous. So we went from 3 asynchronous down to 2 asynchronous, and we went from 1 synchronous up to 2 synchronous. Specials classes is exactly the same as before. Those classes are only synchronous, and they will be twice a week.
Okay, so let's take a look at what your new schedule might look like, okay? If you look here at the yellow boxes, the yellow boxes mean you're going to be live on Zoom with your class. And just so you know now, there's a 45-minute class, but if you're a math person and you like to do math, you might have noticed that on the side, it says that the classes are like from 10 to 10:50. And I just told you it's 45 minutes. Why is that? It's because now in your classes, every class will end 5 minutes earlier than it says on the schedule. So you have time to take a quick break, maybe run to the restroom, maybe get some water before your next live class. Okay, now when you get your schedules, you'll actually have the Zoom links right on your schedule. So if you look here on this first day, 12:30, there's social studies on Mondays, and you can click right there and it'll take you directly to your Zoom link for your live class.
I also want to talk about some classes you'll see on here that are invite only or tutoring classes. And they're actually a different color than the yellow live classes. They're in a kind of orangey brown color. And like I said, these are classes that you will be hearing from your teacher if you are supposed to show up. For example, if you look on Wednesday for the sample schedule, you'll see ELA small group at 10:30, as well as math small group at 11:30. Teachers will be reaching out to you, inviting you to attend those sessions. So be on the lookout for invites on those Wednesdays. In addition, you'll see on this particular schedule something known as Wilson Reading. That is invite only as well. So if you see anything in brown, know that it is generally invite only. There is one exception, and that is for small group / tutoring, which if you look all the way on the bottom, it is from 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock. Small group tutoring, you may get an invite from your teacher saying, hey, I need you to attend my tutoring session. But I also want you to know that that is open for any student to attend. This is your chance to meet with your teacher if you are confused about an asynchronous lesson, if you need additional support completing your lessons, and I hope everyone can take advantage of that time.
Yeah, huge shout out to those students who have taken advantage and gone to tutoring in this first month. You guys are awesome. Okay, now let's take a look at the white sections that are on your schedule. We're trying to help you get organized. So what we've done is we've listed out times where you can work on specific subjects. If you take a look here from 10 to 10:50 on Monday, this sample schedule says ELA Google Classroom work. So you can take this time to work on your ELA classwork that you'll find on Google Classroom. Of course, if you don't finish in this time frame, there will always be time to finish at the end of the day. Also, we've put into your schedule every day a time where you can eat lunch. Be sure you're having healthy lunches so you have energy to get you through the day. And then lastly, we have put in here some breaks. So make sure you are getting some water, maybe doing some exercise, maybe taking out your favorite book, watching a funny video to get you energized again so you can get ready for the rest of the day.
The last highlight that we want to make on the schedule is that Wednesdays there are now classes. Wednesday at 10 a.m., every single student across Inwood Academy will be in advisory block. So make sure that you are ready to go every Wednesday at 10 a.m. In addition, I want you to take notice that the times on Wednesdays are a little bit shorter than the times on every other day of the week. There are 30-minute blocks on Wednesdays, right? Now, as Ms. Santiago stated earlier, it's really only 25 minutes because you still have that 5-minute transition time, but please be aware that these times are a little bit altered on Wednesdays. The other thing that you will now see is those small group times for both ELA and math will be on Wednesdays. So again, look out for those teacher invites because you will have those courses on Wednesdays. And lastly, you will have a 30-minute or 25-minute, should I say, elective on Wednesdays. So again, if you are in 5th or 6th grade, that is performing arts. If you are in 7th grade, that is Spanish. And if you are in 8th grade, that is art.
And you'll also see on Wednesdays the start time of those classes in the block. Okay, this is just a reminder. I'm sure you're all familiar with this. At 9 a.m., all of your assignments will be posted on Google Classroom. They are due at 11:59 p.m. that same day. Now, if you are struggling, there is 3 o'clock tutoring for your subjects, for specific subjects. Make sure you check out your schedule because on your schedule, it will tell you which teachers are available that day for tutoring.
Grading during remote instruction, you have synchronous lessons, as we mentioned earlier, where we will be giving a grade for every time you have a synchronous lesson based on being on time and based on cameras on. Easy 4 here. The second thing that we'll be grading is student work. This is very normal. This is how we grade throughout the year. We look at your work to see how accurate or correct it is. We see if you're trying and putting an effort. We're making sure that you're completing the assignment in its entirety and also that you're submitting work on time. So be on the lookout for grades, not only for your synchronous lessons, but also for your actual student work, because teachers will be grading once per week.
Okay, so we've come to the slide about academic honesty. We did talk about this in the summer, but I want to reiterate what it means. So in order to hand in work that reflects academic honesty, that means you're doing your work independently. You're not copying from the internet, and you're not copying from a classmate. Make sure that if you are borrowing any words from the internet or from a book, make sure you're using quotation marks to show that you have used someone else's words. Also, so you know, we cannot give you credit if you are doing work that is not your own. So if we know that you have copied your answers from someone else or from the internet, we cannot give you credit for that assignment. And I know this is kind of weird school, but this is still school and we're still grading a lot and this will affect your GPA tremendously. So make sure you are asking your teachers for help when you are stuck. Your teachers are incredible and they've made themselves available all day long and especially at those tutoring times. So make sure you are reaching out if you need help and make sure you are not using somebody else's brain or somebody else's work from the internet as your own.
If you have any questions related to anything that we discussed on this slide or any other questions that come to mind, please feel free to email myself or Ms. Santiago. Our emails are right here on the slide. We are happy to answer any questions, and we want to make sure that this remote learning is as smooth as possible and that it is as easy for you as it can be.
Yeah, we miss you so much. Feel free to reach out even just to say hey, okay? Have a great rest of your year. We miss you so much. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, so I hope that you had a chance to understand all of that. It will be presented again when we share the slides, so you can go back to reference it, but it was the clearest communication about what we're doing. And I also wanted to share, I'm not sure why this is not coming up. This video we're not going to play, but it is a video that Ms. Martinez made that shows you how to find things on Google Classroom as well. So I will make this available to you, but we're not going to watch it right now.
Ok, esperamos que hayan podido ver y escuchar. Sé que algunos tuvieron algún problema, pero no se preocupen porque esto está todo grabado y también le vamos a compartir la presentación para que lo puedan ver más adelante. Dentro de la presentación está también cómo obtener acceso rápidamente a los enlaces de Zoom para las clases sincrónicas o en vivo. No se lo vamos a poner ahora, pero está dentro de la presentación.
So I wanted to talk a couple of minutes about progress reports because they were emailed to you this week. If you didn't get it in the email, it may be because your email on ALMA is not accurate because they were sent through ALMA. Your child filled out a progress report reflection in advisory this week, and what this did was have them reflect on their progress report. It's one class they're excited to talk to you about, one class they'd like to improve, and then what is their plan for improving it. So you can ask them to go into their advisory classroom and show you their progress report reflection as you talk to them about the progress report. So the progress report has, as Mr. Brady and Ms. Carbaugh said, we have our standards grades, which are there as well. And the overall grades right now are reflective of whether or not they're coming to class and how they're doing on their grades as well. And you'll see that they have an overall grade point average. It isn't just an average of these scores because some of these are weighted more than others. So a test might be weighted more than than just showing up for a class. And so I just wanted to make sure that you understand that if you want to know exactly how it's calculated, that is a conversation you can have with me so that you can understand that core classes are weighted more than an advisory class, but advisory is still important in the grade point average overall.
Ok, entonces este es un ejemplo del reporte de progreso. Ustedes debieron ya haberlo recibido a través de sus correos electrónicos. Los enviamos. Si no lo recibió es porque no tenemos bien su correo electrónico. Usamos el correo electrónico que está especificado en nuestro sistema de ALMA. Así que si no lo recibió, por favor, avíseme lo antes posible para nosotros corregir su correo electrónico. Adjunto al reporte de progreso está un esquema de reflexión y sobre el progreso que están haciendo. En la clase de Google Classroom, de aula de Google, en la clase de consejería, está esta reflexión en que los niños escriben la clase que les gusta, la clase que no está haciendo muy bien y cómo es el plan que tienen para mejorar su aprendizaje en esa materia. Y así que invite a sus niños a que compartan con ustedes esa reflexión. Ya les digo, está ubicada en el aula de Google en la clase de consejería.
We
Okay.
also we also mailed these this week.
Y sí, los mandamos también esta semana. Como ve aquí, está el averaje de puntaje que viene donde dice GPA, es el averaje de puntaje que tiene su niño. Y está cada clase cuenta, tiene un puntaje diferente. Claro está, las clases que son principales cuentan más que las clases que son electivas, cuentan más que que la clase de consejería, pero eso no quiere decir que la clase de consejería no es importante. De hecho, es muy importante. También tiene diferente calificación si asistió a la clase y si está entregando sus tareas, lo mismo que tiene cierto puntaje más, tiene más valor si, por ejemplo, hacen un examen para saber cómo están entendiendo, y ese examen a lo mejor tiene mucho más puntaje que, por ejemplo, un quiz. Así que todas, dependiendo de lo que están haciendo, tienen un cierto puntaje. Si usted quiere saber más, podemos describir eso más adelante.
So the last thing I really wanted to talk to you about is Class Dojo, because as our teachers are moving more and more toward using this as their main form of communication, I want to make sure that you are hooked up to Class Dojo. We will, we have old information and many of you are already hooked up to it, but if you have a new phone number or a new email address or a new way that you want us to connect you to Dojo, if you're not on Dojo, please in the chat right now, tell us your child's first and last name, what grade they're in, and your email or phone number that you would like to have us connect to Class Dojo. And if you would please download the app now on your phone, then we would be able to invite you and get connected. You'll be seeing part of our advisory challenge will be through Class Dojo. We may be very shortly starting an online school store. I know kids miss that very much. That will be through Dojo. And so Dojo is a really important communication tool for teachers to you.
La mejor forma de comunicarse con los maestros que estamos haciendo es a través de Class Dojo. Antes tenían diferentes plataformas de los maestros que los maestros estaban usando para comunicarse con usted, pero ahora estamos haciendo todos el mismo formato, así que queremos que todos transicionen para que usen todos Class Dojo. Así que, por favor, si no tiene Class Dojo, por favor, descárguelo en su aplicación y díganos aquí en el chat, escriba si ha cambiado su número de teléfono, si ha cambiado su información de correo electrónico, al igual que el nombre de su niño y el grado. También infórmenos siempre si cambia su información, porque esa es la mejor forma de nosotros comunicarnos con ustedes. A través de Class Dojo, nosotros vamos a también tener muchos desafíos con los niños para impulsarlos y para entusiasmarlos en la parte académica. Y también vamos a tener nuestro almacén virtual. Es algo que nosotros usábamos mucho anteriormente, en que los niños podían, ya si recibían ciertos puntajes, recibían cositas del almacén, y lo vamos a hacer de nuevo, y esto también va a ser a través de Class Dojo. Así que por favor asegúrese de que esté conectado a través de Class Dojo.
I am going to ask you now if you have any questions to start writing them in the chat, or I don't know if you do Stack typically, Tatiana, for questions, but I will do those. But I wanted to say something to 8th grade parents right now. I got an email from the Department of Education this week saying that they, of course, have delayed the admissions for high school, but I want you to rest assured that you are automatically admitted to Inwood Academy High School. You do not need to do anything further if you are planning to send your child to Inwood Academy. If you have questions about the admissions process for specialized high schools, or what's going to be happening with when they're going to be doing the assessments and all of those different kinds of things, Giselle Tejada has all of the information, and I will write her address her email address in the chat. But you can call me or you can call Giselle to get further information, and we will give you the information as we know it. But rest assured, if you're an 8th grade parent and you're planning to send your child to Inwood Academy, there is nothing further that you need to do.
La otra cosa que queríamos informarle es que si su niño está en el 8º grado, recuerde que nuestra escuela es una sola escuela de 5º al 12 grado. O sea que al pasar a 9º grado es como si estuviera pasando de 5º a 6º. No tiene usted que hacer absolutamente nada. Ahora, si usted está interesado en las escuelas que son especializadas, entonces nosotros vamos a enviar más información, la persona indicada que se especializa en darle información sobre escuelas especializadas, se llama Giselle Tejada y como siempre ahí está la directora poniendo su información en el chat. Siempre para comunicarse con cualquier persona de nuestra escuela es el nombre, punto, apellido y las mismas iniciales al final. Ella le puede explicar cómo son los exámenes de admisión para las escuelas especializadas. Pero de nuevo, si desea seguir en nuestra escuela, usted no tiene que hacer nada. Es posible que el Departamento de Educación le invite a hacer un montón de investigaciones sobre muchas otras escuelas o que le diga que necesita aplicar para la escuela, pero ya le digo, si quiere seguir en nuestra escuela, pues no tiene que hacer absolutamente nada.
I see in the chat that there's a question about blended learning and about getting students back into the classroom. Right now, we still have the Family Support Center, and those are students who are in person 5 days a week. If you are interested in your child attending the Family Support Center right now until January, please let me know. We have a waiting list, but we would love to get your child on the waiting list. And that's Monday through Friday. And it's going very well. So I encourage you to reach out to us if that's something you're interested in. We will be taking another parent poll to find out parent interest for January going forward. And if you have any questions or concerns or ideas about that, please contact me. I'm happy to talk to you about that as well.
Vio en el chat una pregunta acerca de cuándo se puede empezar los niños a regresar a la escuela en el servicio mixto o híbrido. Y en sí, nosotros no vamos a hacer nada sino hasta enero, porque estamos observando todo, asegurándonos que esté todo seguro y saludable para los niños, pero queremos informarle que nosotros desde septiembre 10 hemos estado ofreciendo el centro de apoyo familiar para las familias que necesitaban el servicio de venir a la escuela todos los días. Y de nuevo, para participar en el centro de apoyo familiar, tiene que venir todos los días. Si quiere más información sobre este servicio, lo único que le digo es que hay una lista de espera, pero por favor comuníquese conmigo. Yo también le puedo dar información sobre el Centro de Apoyo Familiar. Nosotros vamos a hacer otra encuesta para las familias ya cuando esté empezando enero para saber cómo se siente, porque nos importa mucho lo que ustedes piensan, lo que ustedes están sintiendo y cómo ustedes creen que es mejor a seguir. O sea que siempre compartimos y tenemos muy en cuenta lo que ustedes están pasando. Y así que, y si quieren hablar también con la directora, ella está muy lista siempre y disponible para escuchar.
If you have attendance questions, if you email nancy.betances@ialcs.org, she and I can set up an appointment to go over the attendance report with you. She's probably the best stops to get to me directly, and that would be really helpful.
La otra cosa es que hemos visto que hay varias preguntas acerca de la asistencia. ¿Qué pasa si no? Yo creo que el niño está participando, pero lo marcaron ausente. Cualquier cosa sobre asistencia, por favor, comuníquese con Nancy Betances. Y de nuevo está en el chat la información, nancy.betances@ialcs.org. Y ella puede hacer una cita con usted para que nosotros revisemos bien todo sobre la asistencia, el reporte y podamos hacer algún cambio que necesite.
One of the questions that I had is, will we, from Joe Hum, who is a student, we absolutely want to have the goal of getting students back into the classroom. We want teachers and students in the classroom, and we will be working toward that. We have until January, this is how we will be doing things in this phase 2. And after that, we are looking at our best options, and we really want students back in the classroom.
So, uno de nuestros estudiantes está preguntando si van a poder volver a regresar a la escuela. Y en verdad, nosotros eso es lo que queremos. Creemos que es lo mejor para los estudiantes, lo mejor para los maestros. Los extrañamos muchísimo. Y eso es lo que la meta es que todos regresen a la escuela. Así que sí, la cosa es que tenemos que hacerlo todo con mucha seguridad, pensando siempre en la salud.
And I see there's a question from Ms. Robinson. Yes, teachers will respond. I think if you directly reach out to Ms. Betances, she is the best at getting information to me and to students. And that would be the best way to do that.
Si tiene algún problema con comunicación, por favor, comuníquese con Miss Nancy Betances y ella es la mejor persona para ayudarlo a que se comunique bien con la directora.
Sports, we have started some sport training with our high school athletes, and you know, we have, if you haven't seen the pictures of the gym, maybe we can send you some, but there are circles that are 12 feet apart, and students can work out in those 12 feet circles. It's very limited at this point, and it's pretty much directed by the Department of Health.
Otra pregunta que se hizo fue acerca de deportes, si han sido ofrecidos los deportes. En este momento todo está determinado por el Departamento de Salud. Si usted ha visto, nuestro gimnasio está dividido en círculos para que los niños que estén participando solo puedan estar dentro de este círculo. O sea que todo lo que estamos ofreciendo es muy limitado en este momento. Pero sí, el equipo atlético está ofreciendo lo que con algunos niños de high school.
So we're hoping that, you know, as we move into the spring, especially for sports that kind of naturally social distance, you know, I think in the city they've mentioned some like tennis and track, and outdoor sports in particular, we're hoping to move toward those.
A medida que levanten las restricciones, nosotros vamos a también a hacer muchas más cosas como correr en pista, a lo largo de las pistas o lo que se pueda hacer. All right, so I would like to share my screen really quick about to share with you some best practices for how to make sure that that we support our students the best. Some tips for parents during remote learning. So let me just share it with you. Okay, so these are 5 tips for you during remote learning, and I will do that in English and Spanish later. And I guess we share about that with you guys before. But just it's good to reemphasize, very important to stay in communication, stay in direct communication with the teachers through email, text message, Class Dojo. But most importantly, stay in communication with your child, because you're the one who really are eyes and ears, and you can share how your child is feeling, and anything that can tell us how to best support your child. That's the best thing, is for you to stay in communication with your child. The other one is be mindful of computer placement. Because we have increased the number of synchronous lessons, live lessons, then it's very important that you know that the computer microphones can pick up conversations from other rooms all over the home. And it's also, you know, if there are a lot of traffic, then it can be a little distracting for not just for your child, but also for the other students. So it's if possible, be mindful of computer placement. And that's another way for you is just to check the schedule of your child. And that schedule is found also on ALMA. So you'll be able to see, and your child has a schedule, so you'll be able to see when is it that your child has a different live class. In the video, we show you that we color-coded it so that you know when is a live session in yellow or when it's a special tutoring in kind of a light orange. Those are all live sessions. So just be mindful that during those times, your child has as much privacy as possible. Again, know your child's schedule, and that could help your child be responsible. One tip to do is just, since your child is getting the schedule, is to print it out if possible, or just have them write it down and paste it on the wall so that they know, and they become more responsible about that. Having, if possible, a designated workspace so that they know that that's where they separate from, you know, sleeping or in front of the TV or in areas where it's confusing. So if they know that while they're there, they're not going to be playing, they're not going to be lying down, they're not going to be sleeping, that's the area where they're only going to be doing their work. And again, learn our platforms: Google Classroom, ALMA, Zoom, Class Dojo. If you know of anybody from the school that is having trouble connecting with Zoom, like, I will try to follow up with those families who couldn't get in, but very important to know those platforms so that you can stay connected with us and with your child and with your child's teacher. And again, find out more about ALMA if you haven't yet. Connect with me about that. All right, so I'm gonna translate that now. See, 1 second. And, okay. All right, entonces, hay 5 consejos para padres durante el aprendizaje remoto. Una es, claro está, que hemos enfatizado mucho, que es sobre cómo mantenerse siempre comunicado, pero más importante es que se comunique con su hijo, porque ustedes son nuestros ojos, son y nuestros oídos, así que usted es la persona que mejor sabe cómo está su niño. La otra, considera la ubicación de su computadora, muy importante, y conozca el horario de su hijo, muy importante que sepa cuándo son las horas en que su niño está en clase en vivo, para que no haya distracciones, para que el micrófono no esté escuchando otras conversaciones de su casa. También que tenga un lugar establecido que sea privado para su niño, que su niño sepa que es ahí donde se hacen las tareas. Si es posible, designe un lugar específico para su niño, un rinconcito para que él haga su tarea, que es muy diferente donde duerme o donde come o donde donde ve televisión, porque así puede tener su niño una clara definición de dónde es que tiene que hacer sus tareas. Y por último, por favor, conozca bien las plataformas de aprendizaje que usamos: el Google Classroom, el ALMA, Zoom y, claro está, Class Dojo. Como ve, nosotros estamos empezando a que todos estén conectados, no solamente ustedes, sino también que los maestros estén haciendo la conexión con ustedes. Así que, por favor, no se olviden de delinear los límites para su niño. So now we're coming to the conclusion of the meeting. And like I said, please make sure that you connect with me or connect with Miss Nancy Betance if you want to reach out to Miss Hoofstra. And you can also reach out to Ms. Hoofstra. She's putting her name right there on the chat. Her email address is the best way to connect with her. And then, yeah, so any questions or anything like that, I'm always here for you. And have a great afternoon. Bueno, ya concluye nuestra presentación. Como saben, estoy aquí para servirlos. Cualquier pregunta que no pudimos contestarle, por favor, comuníquese de nuevo conmigo y yo lo ayudaré. Ms. Hoofstra puso su correo electrónico. Es muy fácil comunicarse con ella a través de su correo electrónico. Si necesita hablar más sobre la asistencia, de nuevo, comuníquese con Ms. Nancy Betances. Y recuerden, nosotros estamos aquí para servirlo, para trabajar juntos y ayudar a su niño a salir adelante. Así que tengan un lindo día y que estén muy bien.
Good morning again. I have a question.
Really quick, Rafael, because we gotta go.
Right. Well, the question is that when you send the report, the grade report, could you send the schedule for the, because I don't have a printer, I can't print it out, the schedule for his classes.
Ms. Hoofstra, you're in mute.
We sent it already, but we can send you one.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
La pregunta fue si puede enviar el horario de nuevo. Nosotros lo enviamos, pero lo podemos volver a enviar. Okay, so I gotta go. If you have children in 9 through 12, we're gonna get out and come back in. Okay? No, tenemos que irnos, pero si tiene niños de 9 al 12, salga y vuelve a entrar. Ok, gracias.
Bye-bye.
Bye.